18 months by a pariah regime in North Korea.
The North Koreans, they are fundamentally the most moral, corrupt, dangerous regime in the world.
In just a few hours, the president expected to unveil a new policy in Miami, rolling back Obama-era policies with Cuba.
I leave you with three great American words that for generations have torn down barriers, built bridges of unity, and defied those who have sought to pull us apart. Ladies and gentlemen, let's play ball.
Featured entertainer today in the All-American Summer Concert Series, brought to you by Keurig, as we finish up the second week here in our new studio home, Studio F.
I will say that
6th Avenue.
Brian picks the wrong days to be gone. You give you Fridays?
I know.
I mean, come on, concert series.
Everyone's in a good mood.
I get to jump in here and enjoy a concert, some barbecue. You can't get any better. And spend time with you guys.
Yeah, if you're in the New York City area, come on down at 6th Avenue between 47 and 48th Streets. And Charlie Daniels, you'll see the big stage, you'll see the big crowd, and come on in for a free concert.
Come on over just to say hi to Pete.
No.
Pete is in today for Brian. It's
Thank
great
you,
to have
guys.
you.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you. All right, meanwhile, everybody was watching TV last night.
Right? It was a record turnout for that congressional baseball game as lawmakers were stepping up to the plate one day after the shooting at a GOP team practice.
The Democrats won and then handed their trophy over to the Republicans to give to Congressman Steve Scalise as he recovers in a hospital 5 miles away.
That's right. Our own Kristen Fisher is at the White House this morning. Good morning, Kristen.
Hey guys, good morning. Well, for these members of Congress to play ball just one day after one of their own was shot in practice, I mean, it was an incredibly emotional night here in Washington. This game has been played every year since 1909, and every year it's been all about building bipartisanship. But this year, it really took on a whole new meaning. Almost 25,000 tickets sold. It was a record. Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle and their staff filled the seats. President Trump had wanted to attend, but the White House says he wasn't able to because there wasn't sufficient time to fully secure Nats Park. So he left this video message instead. Watch.
Playing tonight, you are showing the world that we will not be intimidated by threats, acts of violence, or assaults on our democracy. On this special night, I leave you with three great American words that for generations have torn down barriers, built bridges of unity, and defied those who have sought to pull us apart. Ladies and gentlemen, let's play ball.
And in fact, one of the Capitol police officers that was injured in the shooting threw out the opening pitch, which you can see there. Now at this event, they also raised money, more than $1 million for charity. That's more than double what was raised last year. And Ivanka Trump also presented a $50,000 check from the Friends in the Trump administration. In the end, Democrats won 11-2, but after they were presented the winning trophy, they gave it back to the Republicans, who are going to put it back in Congressman Scalise's office, who remains in critical condition at the hospital. Back to you.
All right, Kristen Fisher live at the White House. It was so inspiring to see hero Special Agent David Bailey out there.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah.
When he walked out to the mound on crutches because he had been shot. And then he put down one crutch, kept one, and then he made it to home plate. It made it to home plate.
Yeah, it was nice to see the Dems and the Republicans come together. Whether or not that will last, we don't know. Tell us what you think. But it was really nice to see them pray together. CNN tweeted out that it was the Democrats that were praying, but in reality, it was Democrats and Republicans out there on the field praying together, those lawmakers.
Right, and they were at second base because that's Steve Scalise's position on the field.
I mean, Dems are clearly, at this point, better baseball players. There's no doubt about that.
Right?
They were
The
this
score
year.
was like 11-2.
11-2 is not even close.
Republicans won last year.
Did they really?
Absolutely.
They needed Scalise.
There you go. And they've had a really rotten week when you think all in all.
Yeah.
You want the warm glow to continue. You really do. You look at what happened at second base, you look at the prayer, and all of us look at that and say, that's what America should look like. That's
Nancy
what we want
Pelosi
our
and
representative.
LSU.
Yeah, like you want that. And so the hope is that that can continue. But the problem is the track record of this Congress and the rhetoric you've seen leads us to believe maybe it's a one-night only event.
Sure. And Ainsley, you mentioned Nancy Pelosi wearing an LSU cap. At
wearing
one point,
a T-shirt.
Okay, T-shirt. At one point yesterday, I think she was complaining about we've gotten to this stage with the rhetoric, this hateful rhetoric in America, but the Republicans started it. Laura Ingraham was on last night, and she set the record straight about that.
Oh, it's nice spirit. That's all great. But and I know, and I think most people watching Fox and most people who are sentient human beings know what game they've been playing for a long, long time. This has been going on long before Donald Trump. I mean, remember Condoleezza Rice, what they said about her? She was a house slave. Remember what they said about Colin Powell? He's in the house of the master. They were doing assassination plays about Ronald Reagan years ago. This has been going on, now amplified by a deranged left-wing media that is completely off the rails and enjoying somewhat of a renaissance during this period. They're making money off of it. They're certainly not condemning the type of speech that Maxine Waters and the DNC chair and respected celebrities are engaging in.
She makes a great point. The rhetoric has got to change. Everybody was agreeing to that yesterday, the Day of Unity. The question, though, going forward is, will the rhetoric change in Hollywood, in the media, and on campus, and in the public square, on social media, and, of course, in Washington? Ted Nugent was on WABC radio yesterday. And, Ted Nugent has said some strong things about Democrats in the past. And he said, you know what? We've hit the stage. It's time for him to change. The big question is, will the other side follow? Listen.
I think we've reached critical mass. I tend to agree. You and I had a bit of a confrontation because of some of the language I've used. I just can't use those harsh terms. I cannot, and I will not. And I encourage even my friends/enemy on the left in the Democrat and liberal world that we have got to be civil to each other, that the whole world is watching America, where you have the God-given right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and we have got to be more respectful to the other side.
Good for him.
Yeah, I mean, the first part of it, you have to be willing to clean your own house in that conversation, make sure you're not stepping over a line. The problem is, generally speaking, it hasn't been a problem on the right the way it has been on the left. So that's the right sentiment, and I think all of us can acknowledge that. Let's make sure we're responsible about what we say. But this is really, will the left police their own? Will they go to the comedians?
Will
and
they
the
call
others
them out?
Will they call them out?
Will they
say,
call
listen,
out Comedy
depicting
Central?
Violence or assassination, not okay. Even flirting with it, not okay. That's the question.
Shakespeare in the Park?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kathy Griffin needs to stop.
Let us know what you think. Email us, friends@foxnews.com, or you could tweet us, or you could Facebook us.
That's right.
All right. Meanwhile, on the president's birthday, a couple of days ago, the Washington Post presented him with the present, and it was, hey, look, the president is under investigation by the special counsel for obstruction of justice. They cited a number of unnamed sources. That's always the case. And then yesterday they followed it up with Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, is now, his business dealings are under scrutiny as well by Robert Mueller.
Special counsel Robert Mueller, he's investigating the finances and business dealings of Jared Kushner. Also, FBI and federal prosecutors are examining Mike Flynn, Paul Manafort, Carter Page for their finances as well.
That's right. And nothing but, as always, anonymous officials, anonymous sources.
Right. That's according to these articles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Find me one name in these articles. One name.
Which is so crazy because we've heard that Robert Mueller, a man of integrity, his team's leaking. Is it leaks from the FBI? Not so fast. Actually, Robert Mueller's boss, the Deputy
Attorney
General, Rod Rosenstein, put this out last night. He said, Americans should exercise caution before accepting as true any stories attributed to anonymous sources, particularly when they do not identify the country, let alone the branch or agency of government with which the alleged sources supposedly are affiliated. Americans should be skeptical about anonymous allegations. The Department of Justice has a long-established policy to neither confirm nor deny such allegations.
Think about that. The country, a government official.
He's suggesting maybe Russia is coming up with these headlines or leaking information. We don't know the sources. They're not telling us the sources.
Wait, are you saying that Russia is colluding with the Washington Post? Anyway, so he says, not so fast. Maybe you should question. If you saw a name attached to the story, you could believe it.
It could be fake news.
There you go. Yeah. We don't know. All right. Meanwhile, it's 6:11 now in New York City.
Morning, Jillian.
Good morning, Jillian. Good morning. Happy Friday to you guys, to you at home as well. Let's begin with some breaking news overnight. Russia taking credit for killing the leader of ISIS. The country's defense military claims Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi and 30 ISIS commanders died in an airstrike in the Syrian city of Raqqa late last month. But the top U.S. military spokesman in Baghdad tells Fox News they have no evidence to support Russia's claims. A state of unresponsive wakefulness. That's what doctors say about the condition of Otto Warmbier, the American student just freed from North Korea. That update coming as Otto's father thanks the Trump administration and takes a shot at the Obama administration for not securing his release sooner. Take a look.
Past administration could have done more. I think the results speak for themselves. We're also thankful to Rex Tillerson and to President Trump. They wanted Otto home, and I believe, Cindy and I believe they made this happen. So we're thankful for that.
Doctors still don't know the cause of the 22-year-old's condition or if he will recover. In just a few hours, the president will head to Miami, expected to announce changes to Obama-era policies with Cuba. Commercial flights and cruises to the island will likely still be allowed, but travel restrictions could be tightened. A senior administration official says the president is trying to block business deals with Havana's military in hopes of cutting off money to the oppressive Cuban regime. That's a look at your headlines on this Friday. Guys, I'll send it back to you, and I'll see you in a little bit.
And apparently, if there are changes regarding travel, you'll still be able to bring back cigars.
Oh, you will?
Oh,
good.
That's what I read.
Thank goodness.
There you
I
go.
need those.
Cutting to what people really care about. Steve Doocy
Right.
It's all
every
about
morning.
the cigars. All right. Thank you very much, Jillian.
Thanks.
Meanwhile, 2 days ago, he was crying for help during baseball practice, but last night, Congressman Chuck Fleischmann was on the field in unity. Can that bipartisan spirit extend beyond baseball? He will join us live next.
And this American hero ran the length of a football field in the kill zone to save 10 lives, despite being injured himself in Vietnam. The first Medal of Honor recipient under President Trump will share his incredible story with us here on Fox and Friends. You're not going to want to miss it.
Touching moment to start the congressional baseball game at Nats Park last night as heroic Capitol Police officer Special Agent David Bailey, who helped stop Wednesday's attack on the Republican team, threw out the first pitch. It's coming up right here. And in another moving moment, Democrats and Republicans huddled up for a prayer at second base, Steve Scalise's position before the start of the game. Big question on this Friday morning. Can that spirit of unity go beyond baseball? Here to discuss is Tennessee Congressman and baseball team member Chuck Fleischmann. Chuck, good morning to you. How'd you do last night?
I did pretty well. I scored a run. My manager told me I'm still the fastest man on the team, so at almost 55, I will take that. But before we start, I just want to say hi to my dear friend Steve Scalise. Steve, I love you. We miss you. We were thinking about you last night. All of America was with you and the other folks who were injured and shot. America began its healing process last night, and you led the way.
Indeed. Well put, Congressman. Thank you very much. You know what? As people look in on this Friday morning, they're going, okay, that was a great night last night at National Park, and it was great to see Nancy Pelosi and Speaker Ryan and Mitch and Chuck together at the game last night. But where do we go from here? Is anything going to change?
Well, I hope so. Let's face it, America is a great nation, the greatest nation in the world because of our diversity. I'm a conservative Republican, and I represent a wonderful district in East Tennessee with people with good, strong conservative values. I realize that other parts of the nation have different views on the role of government, in fact, where America's role is in the world. But I do think this. Once we have elections, we've elected a president, Donald Trump, and a vice president, Mike Pence. We've elected a Senate and a Congress. We do need to work together on the big issues. Let me give you some specifics.
Okay.
I believe the last administration really messed up health care. Obamacare, the so-called Affordable Care Act, is falling apart. It was flawed from the inception. We need truth from both sides,
Sure.
Republicans and Democrats, to say this thing is flawed, it's broken, it's got to go away. Having said that, we've got a duty, I think, to replace it with something that's going to benefit the vast majority of Americans. As we go through that debate, I'm a fervent believer in the First Amendment and all of our amendments, Second Amendment, our Bill of Rights. We have to remember that there will be charged rhetoric, there will be strong opinions, but once we come to a resolution, once we resolve these issues, we've got to keep our mind on the big picture, and that is keeping America moving forward, keeping America truly great, keeping Americans safe, and keeping our place in the world as it is, number one.
Well put. All right, Congressman, thank you very much for joining us today, the day after you got 50% of the Republican runs last night at Nats Park.
Well, there you go. I wish we had won. I tapped my hat to the tip my hat to the Democrats that played a good game, but America won last night.
They did indeed. We did. All right, Chuck Fleischman, Republican from Tennessee. Sir, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Coming up on this Friday, a woman bullied by a barista for wearing a Trump t-shirt who wrote "Build a Wall" on her cup. Now Starbucks is responding to her green tea order.
Welcome back. Some quick headlines for you here on The Staircase. CNN's parent company, Time Warner, is standing behind a play that shows the bloody assassination of a President Trump lookalike. Just last month, CNN host Fareed Zakaria called the New York Public Theater's Julius Caesar a masterpiece. The play's final show is Sunday. And Starbucks is apologizing to a President Trump supporter in North Carolina. A woman says she was ridiculed by baristas and handed a cup written on it, "Build a Wall," instead of her name. She claims it's because she was wearing a Trump campaign shirt. Starbucks says it's working to make it right. We'll see about that. Steve, over to you.
I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. God bless the USA.
What a voice. That hometown hero and proud American, former Army medic Jim McLuhan is set to be the first vet to receive the Medal of Honor from President Trump on the last day of next month.
That's amazing. But in 1969, he found himself deep in the kill zone of a very bloody two-day battle in Vietnam, wounded by a rocket-powered grenade. He was trying to save the lives of two of his fellow soldiers that were stuck without weapons. Now, despite his injuries, he pulled them to safety, running 4 more times into the kill zone, saving a total of 10 American brothers.
Former Army specialist and Vietnam vet Jim McLuhan joins us right now from Grand Rapids. Jim, good morning to you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
It's great to have you, and we're glad that the President of the United States finally will be able to honor you for your valor in Vietnam. Take us back to that day in 1969.
First of all, our lieutenant, who was the head of the company, said that this was a flawed mission because we didn't have any forward observation, so therefore did not know how many enemy soldiers were in the area. But we were combat assaulted into a hot LZ, which means the helicopters couldn't land. We jumped out of the helicopters, formed a perimeter, and for the next 2 days, found ourselves greatly outnumbered in a bloody battle for just our survival.
You did not mention this part, but at certain points you put down your gun and you ran into the kill zone, and in some cases you ran the length of a football field where there was crossfire and you could have been shot and killed 9 different times. You went into the kill zone 9 different times and you saved 10 different men.
Yes, sir, that's the biggest reward that I have. I would never demean the Medal of Honor, but having saved those 10 lives, that's the biggest reward I have. They enjoyed a full life and have taken up all kinds of services in the civilian world, and I am so proud that I was able to do that.
Have you kept in touch with the men that you saved, those 10?
I have. We walked out with 32 men. We went in with 89. We had 12 killed, 1 missing in action, and 44 were either injured and or wounded in that action. So actually, I worked on more than just the 10 men that I went out after too, and many of them were who made it back in themselves too were in bad shape. But yes, I have reconnected with 20 of those men and then reconnected them with each other. So the old medic is still doing his job of taking care of his men.
Yeah, will they be at the ceremony on July 31st?
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't be there without them. As a matter of fact, they're excited. They're more excited than I am, I think.
That is wonderful. Well, after you came back from Vietnam, you went on to, you were a teacher for many, many years. You're now retired. And we are so proud that the president will recognize you, Jim McCloughan, for what you are, an American hero.
Well, my wife hates it when I say this, but I'm not a hero. Any veteran will tell you that the heroes are no longer with us.
God bless you, Jim. Thank you for serving our country.
All right. Meanwhile, an ESPN host under fire for saying the NFL injects politics in sports by playing the national anthem. And that's not even the worst part. Seriously.
And Todd is having breakfast with friends this morning. He is in Miami Springs, Florida. Hey, Todd.
Hey guys, we just heard from one Vietnam veteran. We're going to hear from two more here at the Cozy Corner in advance of President Trump's visit to Miami. Guys, are we ready to have some fun today? Yeah. Oh, come on, we could do better than that. One more. Yeah. More Fox and Friends at the other side of this break.
For a speech unveiling his Cuba policy.
So how will voters there react, and what do they think of the president's job so far?
That's right, because the new policy rolls back a lot of the stuff that the Obama administration tried to do. Meanwhile, the newest member of the Fox and Friends family, Todd Pyro, is there in Miami Springs, Florida, talking to diners at the Cozy Corner. The Todd looks like a cozy corner.
Oh, we're in a Cozy Corner. We're having a great time. But it's interesting you mentioned Donald Trump is coming down here today. This is not a Republican district. In fact, Hillary Clinton won this Miami-Dade County area by almost 30 points. The last time a Republican won the vote here was George Bush when he defeated Michael Dukakis. And so not a very Republican-friendly area, but that said, we do have some very Republican-friendly viewers, including two Vietnam vets. I'm going to start with Ben. First of all, Ben, thank you for your service to our country.
Thank you very much for having me here.
And as a veteran, you are concerned about safety. Talk to me more about that.
I think that we have a beautiful president that's going to step up, and when the military would be needed, he'll make it happen. Terrorism has to be stopped, and has to be stopped now. And we got the man in there that can do it. Mr. Donald J. Trump will stop terrorism from coming into America. And if he needs old vets like me, we'll stand up, we'll lock and load, and we'll take care of business.
I love it. Now, you said you want to see vetting of everybody that comes into our country. Why?
If they want to come into this country, they need to be vetted, because the unknown will kill you, and I don't care for that. I don't want our women or our children placed in a position to be shot for an idea that they think they're right.
Understood.
This is a country where we protect our people.
Ben, thank you very much. We're going to go to your lovely wife, Linda. Linda's a business owner, and you're used to having to be efficient in your job, but you say D.C., not very efficient.
No, I think there's too much Congress. They should redistribute and not have so many people there. But I feel bad on what's happened recently. Maybe they should do some training and some self-carry of concealed weapons. That's up to them. But I hate to see all the expense. I love that Donald Trump is trying to be more efficient, and I think that hopefully the people will work together in the United States. We have so many beautiful people throughout the states.
Along those lines, you want efficiency. What is your one issue that you want them to solve first?
Safety.
Safety. So a lot of safety here at this table. We're going to continue on over to Steve. Steve, again, Vietnam veteran, thank you for your service to our country.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having us. And when we were talking to you, you said safety, another big issue, but you looked at it through the prism of the courts. Why are the courts an issue for you?
Because Obama and Reid lowered the voting for a simple majority, and what they did is they packed the courts with judges with liberal policies. So the law is not being interpreted by the law, and what the law is, it's being interpreted by, political means.
So what do you want to see happen?
Well, they need to put a lot more conservative judges in, for one, and Trump needs to step up to the plate. I love his tweets, but I'm tired of the whining about crooked Hillary.
Right.
If he really thinks she's crooked, and the Clintons and all those things, that he needs to go the distance.
And you mentioned to me earlier, you said you love the president, but you're tired of the tweets. Talk to me about that.
Well, I love the informative tweets about business, about meeting with people. I think that's wonderful. But the recent one about crooked Hillary, get off of it. You're the man now. I mean, this is not an election. If you think she's crooked, do something about it. Quit whining.
Now, while Trump may be the man in the country, we got to talk to Ben for a second, because Ben is not only the man here in this diner, but he's also Uncle Sam. Talked about that. How are your Uncle Sam? What do you do?
Uncle Sam loves this country from A to Z, and it's fun to represent the city of Miami Springs on the back of a Harley on the 4th. So we ride down and have my flags up, the POW flag and the American flag on the back of the Harley, and we throw candies at the kids. And at the end of the day, we get to pay respects for those that serve.
Well, we want to pay respect to you all that serve, and everybody here at the Cozy Corner that serve this great land. Guys, we're going to throw it on back to you. Just an inspiring group here. A lot of fun so far, and we'll toss it on back to New York.
And Todd, you did so well. That was your first diner on Fox and Friends.
It's true.
You did great.
Diner inauguration.
How'd it feel?
I'm no Pancake Pete, but I'm Pancake Pyro.
Yeah, start eating, Todd. Start eating.
Oh, yeah.
Off of their plate. Good luck.
Anybody's plate, any food, doesn't matter. Get after it.
All right.
Todd Pyro,
good job.
newest member of the team.
You trained him well.
That's right.
You trained him well.
That's right.
All right.
Well done, Todd.
All right. Meanwhile, 22 minutes before the top of the hour, Jillian joins us with some news.
I'm so excited for him. He got here about a week after I did, so it's fun to
You're
watch.
buddies.
Yeah, good morning to you guys, to you at home as well. Let's begin with this right now. New fears in the death toll in the London apartment inferno could rise above 100 as dozens remain unaccounted for. At least 17 people are confirmed dead at this point. This as we learn of one quick-thinking mother who saved her family by flooding their apartment with water, keeping the area damp until help arrived. Experts say the high-rise was a disaster waiting to happen, and that the building prioritized green energy over safety. We'll keep you posted there. Get this, Wells Fargo under fire again. The bank now accused of modifying its customers' mortgages without authorization. Some borrowers claim Wells Fargo reduced their monthly payments, but in doing so, they extended loans, sometimes by decades. That greatly increases the total interest borrowers have to pay. Wells Fargo denies the allegations, saying the modifications were clear to customers. Starting next month, you won't need to pick a gender to apply for an Oregon driver's license. The state becoming the first to include a not specified option on DMV applications. So instead of an M or an F on a state-issued ID, there will be an option for an X. And how about this story? Politicizing patriotism. An ESPN host says the NFL has made sports political by playing the national anthem.
Colin Kaepernick also did not go looking for a protest. It came to him. He was asked to stand for the national anthem. You do not have to stand for the national anthem, and even if it was a rule that you did, is that Colin Kaepernick injecting politics into the NFL? No. That's the NFL injecting politics by playing the national anthem and putting pressure on you to stand for it in the first place.
ESPN's Max Kellerman was comparing Colin Kaepernick's season-long protest to Muhammad Ali refusing to go to the Vietnam War. Let's look at your headlines on this Friday, guys. Send it back to you. But
How do you feel about that? You served our country.
No, how does this not drive everyone nuts? This idea that standing for the national anthem is a political statement?
As I'm reading, I can hear you reacting over
Losing
there,
it. These two as well. I mean, it's
feel.
outrageous.
It's the one thing that we do have in common. Are you kidding? We're all Americans.
No, when the flag becomes a political statement,
Right.
you have a very serious problem in your culture.
No kidding. All right, 20 minutes before the top of the hour, it's Friday, and Janice Dean takes a look at the day ahead weather-wise, and so far here in New York City, it's beautiful.
I'm trying to make sure that the rain stays away because we got Charlie Daniels coming up. We got a lineup all the way down the block. People are going to come in. Famous Dave's Keurig is supporting Charlie Daniels. Let's take a look at the maps real quick. Cooler temperatures across the East Coast. I want to make sure folks know, especially you fathers out there, that we could see some showers, thunderstorms this weekend. It's not going to be a washout, but we are going to see the potential for some rain in the forecast, really from the Midwest to the Northeast back into the Southeast. All right, I'm going to make sure the rain stays away, but we'll have our cowboy hats on here for the American Concert Series on Fox and Friends. Back inside.
Well, if it rains, let's have a 10-gallon hat.
Sounds good.
All right.
Thank you, Janice.
Appreciate it. All right, we've got a huge show still ahead. Congressman Ron DeSantis, Larry the Cable Guy, and of course, Kellyanne Conway, all here live.
And the Republican baseball practice shooter posted on social media about destroying President Trump.
Kurt, the cyber guy, says it was Facebook's failure. He is here. Come on in, Kurt. We're going to talk to him about it. Coming up next. The social media posts of the gunman who shot Congressman Steve Scalise and 4 others revealing a blatant anti-Trump bias, like this one on Facebook, saying Trump is a traitor. Trump has destroyed our democracy. It's time to destroy Trump and company.
Yeah, how did that threatening Facebook post slip through the cracks? Kurt, the cyber guy, is here to discuss. Kurt, good morning. How are you?
Hey, fired up on this one this morning. Good morning, guys. We're talking about, on Facebook, they have community standards. And in those standards, they talk about how they handle certain threatening language on the service. The world's largest social network has utterly failed at this moment in time. My question this morning, knowing that Facebook has a policy that says we will remove any certain kind of threatening language, and certainly we know as of May 21st, The Guardian reported a leaked document that is the guidelines for 4,500 of the Facebook moderators. And what we learned from that is that, especially when it comes to a head of state, they will take action. Well, let me just read the line that was sitting there again. I want to ask you this. Is this a threatening line? It's time to destroy Trump and company.
I would think so.
If I said it's time to destroy an aircraft, it's time to destroy an animal, wouldn't you think that should take action against that? How come this sat there weeks upon weeks upon weeks? So here's my question. Had Facebook done what they said they would do in protecting us online, and had they seen this, removed it, and notified proper authorities, in this case the Secret Service, would any of the incident that happened nearly almost 48 hours ago to this moment have happened?
Kurt, do you think this is a volume problem? Is there so much rhetoric out there and so much of it crosses the line, Facebook just can't keep up? I mean,
No, I think what we have is a money machine in a social network that owns the world in terms of social media and has captivated the world. And they don't own the fact that they are the dominant force of voices in America and the world. And in doing so, this is a peppering, a little teeny tiny thing that they could be doing. But even to have software that I'm sure they have, and by the way, they won't reveal their methodology, but there's software that can pick up a word that says a negative word or a dangerous action word and another name, such as the president's name, and that would bring it to somebody's attention, you would think. Or you and I can go there and flag that. Did no one really flag that?
Right.
And then I'll leave you with this. I've sat here for almost 3 years, and I have said, and I've been critical of Facebook. I pointed out the good, I pointed out the bad, and I'll tell you something, to the people at Facebook, you're on notice. I'll tell you right now, I'm aware, my social media team has brought to my attention that my own views, the algorithm that Facebook uses, is now showing my content a lot less. They're putting it down. So it won't change me reporting here, Facebook. You'll still hear it on Fox and Friends.
What would be their response if it said it's time to destroy Hillary Clinton and company?
Yeah.
Would they have taken it down?
You know, I don't know. I don't know.
Thank
Good
you.
question.
Thanks for being with us.
Right, we shouldn't even have a worry of that kind of double standard. True. But Kurt, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. All right, President Trump set to make a major policy announcement today. And Kellyanne Conway here live, and she's going to maybe give us a sense of what we can expect.
And just in time for Father's Day on Sunday, Ace Hardware is here with
I
the
love
last-minute
Ace.
deals. You're going to love this segment that will keep Dad busy all summer long.